Knicks Celtics opening night and the look ahead to Pacers Knicks. I'm going to kick it to my guy Sean Little here to start us off. Initial thoughts. Obviously, everyone wanted to talk historic shooting night for the Boston Celtics, but a lot of bright spots here for the New York Knicks. Don't want to build it up. One game's one game in the win or loss column. Talk to me about just instant reactions to what you saw in the new look Knicks.
Yeah, one game's one game. They played the best team on planet Earth in basketball, the Boston Celtics, and they couldn't miss either.
Yeah.
I will say this, a lot of open looks from three. Mm-hmm. I thought our defense would be – I knew that there's going to be time that's needed for meshing on offense because you're adding such a big bucket in Cat, right? And that can stretch the floor and the spacing, and that stuff was going to need time to gel. I thought the defense would be a little more buttoned up than it was. There was a lot of open looks from Boston. But it's game one. Jalen Brunson looked a little tentative offensively. Once he started going – he was 9 of 14 from the floor. He put it was efficient offensively, but he was a little tentative. Do I got to get Cat involved? Do I got to get Bridges involved? What do I do here? So that was one thing that jumped out. And the biggest glaring thing, I talked about it last night. The third leading scorer in the preseason was Deuce McBride. He took the most field goal attempts per game in the preseason, Deuce McBride. He is pivotal for a bench that honestly is extremely thin. He was the bright spot last night, Deuce McBride. They're going to need time to gel offensively. The defense, I thought, would be better, but they're also playing the best offensive team in the world. That will get cleaned up. And the bench, or the bench, time to gel, and then the defense not being as buttoned up as I thought it would be were the three things that jumped out for me. But it's game one. We'll see how it shakes.
I mean, well said on Deuce. Absolute snipe of a prop. Well done.
Yeah.
22 off the bench.
Yeah.
He was jumper. We've talked about
it. Pure, confident. And one thing, when you're talking about Tibbs guys, it's clear he trusts Deuce McBride.
Yeah.
And when you're looking around the league, I think the best teams are guys that have solidified roles. Deuce McBride, role is crystal clear. Hey, Deuce, go. Deuce. Go get some buckets.
Yeah.
Period. That's all he has to do. So to go to that quote from Josh Hart, hey, I don't know exactly my role right now in this team coming into the game. I think some of that was Josh being Josh and being tongue-in-cheek and fun. Almost like, hey, I can do whatever's needed. I just got to figure out what it is, and we're going to, as we go on throughout the year, it'll be solidified. But you saw it from the Knicks last year. Once the roles were solidified, they were unbelievable. Jalen's going to go do whatever. He's going to score 30 a night. OG is going to shoot threes from the corner and lock up on D. Deuce is going to come off the bench. Hey, Josh Hart, go rebound. No problem. I'm going to pick up 16 rebounds a night. So once those roles get solidified and it's done, that's when you'll see the Knicks start to roll. And if you look all around the league, guys that have solidified roles and it's crystal clear are usually doing pretty good.
The things that jumped out to me, I'm pretty impressed with the flow of the offense for just lack of reps. I think the spacing for these five guys was pretty tremendous. And again, when the other team's knocking down everything, it's tough to kind of pay attention to that. We talked about it off air. 55% shooting as a team gets you a win on most NBA nights. They shot very well. Bridges, of course, a little different kind of first half to second half. He got a little bit of a rhythm. That's a off shooting night for OG, 1 of 7, 4 points. Won't see that again. I think this is an offense that will find their rhythm. I think identity-wise from last year, this team got their sort of ethos from being tough, from being physical. This is far and away a more talented team than last year. Just flat out, more talented team. When you're more talented, dog, defense, hustle doesn't always stick out as prevalent. For me, I want to see this more talented team show us what last year's Knicks showed us. It matches the energy of the city. It's exactly what a Tibbs team really hangs their hat on. And I want to see more of that. And I got to see more of that. And I'm looking at, obviously, as you alluded to, the best in the world, so you don't want to build it up. And kind of moving it forward to Friday night, we saw this Pacers team beat this team in a series and block us from getting to the ECF. What are you looking at matchup-wise, storyline-wise, rematch, all things Pacers-Knicks? Home opener at the Garden.
Yeah, it's going to be electric at the Garden. And the Knicks are going to be coming off a loss, and they're going to show up in a major way.
Yeah.
There's all the factors. The revenge factor from last year, season opener, you're coming off a loss. You didn't play very well. The Boston Celtics came out. First of all, I mean, you're not going to beat many teams in the league that make 29 threes.
Yeah.
So, like, you could almost chalk some of it up. They shot essentially 15. They shot 47% from three, the Boston Celtics, and missed 13 in a row to close the game.
Let me ask you this, because this feels like a comp would be like, all right, in a softer NFL, you're maybe not going to get flags. You're just not going to be able to be as physical in today's NFL. If a team's knocked down from the perimeter, how can you be physical and rough it up without racking up fouls in 2024 NBA? Because whoever solves that as a team is going to have the best chance against the Celtics club.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to close out contest and try to deny off-ball stuff as much as you can.
Just don't close out like Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's the way to do it. But I think they have a lot of factors that are going for them that are narrative-based.
Yeah.
But they'll give them a little push come Friday night at the Garden.
But we talked about it, just matchups. You mentioned it, obviously, Bridges and OG covering Brown and Tatum. OG and Bridges against matchups on the Pacers. Anyone you looking forward to? All things Knicks locking up all things Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, Miles Turner's going to have a really tough time against this squad. Now, I would love to see – I'm interested to see who picks up Pascal. Is it going to be OG? Is it going to be Bridges?
Yeah.
Who takes on that assignment? One thing that does worry me a bit is clearly the Knicks aren't that deep. We know that coming in, and they're going to figure out what they're going to do with the bench and how they're going to get that portion solidified. But that is not an issue for the Pacers. They are about as deep as it gets. We know T.J. McConnell.
Yeah.
We know Nembhard. Which one of those guys goes to the bench? Benedict Mathurin is going to be back. Like, they are loaded. They have legit 10 guys that they can play.
Your guy Isaiah Jackson still
I don't even know if he's still on the squad. But, man, Isaiah Jackson killed us in the playoffs last year. So they're deep.
And the Knicks at the Garden are all about sending messages when teams are coming to their house, to our house. Obviously, this team eliminated the Knicks. So what message off a 29-3 Natty TVL does this Knicks team want to show our fans in the world?
There is no doubt in my mind that they are going to show up and lock up from the jump at the Garden on Friday night. Defense is going to be the key. And once you can stifle and strap guys up, offense becomes a little easier. A little extra offensive buckets in transition that always helps. So I think defense first, which will help the squad a lot on Friday night.
The Knicks will still have to worry about Isaiah Jackson. He is still a Pacer.
Deep. They got guys.
Sounds like we're squad riding Knicks and swallowing the number here Friday night at the Garden.
No doubt.
Let's go.